Greetings, everyone. This is Joanna from Heavenly Radiance, Universal Love, Light, and Wisdoms, and the Sacred.Corner. So thank you so much for tuning in today. We wanted to talk about a very exciting topic that is all about the vibrations and attributes of ascension and awakening. We'll create a daily or weekly topics related to the awakening of humanity through the individual micro-macro perspective, and always within the alignment of the Christic vibrations of who we are as divine, omnipresent, multiverse beings of light, awakening within who we are, that remembrance. And within the crystalline grids, aligning always with our story with Gaia, our soul blueprint with Gaia, how we've come to awaken within our grander, omnipresent perspective, and how we're unfolding and allowing that to flow in new planetary earthly perspectives, so that we, in doing so, align with our soul's desire, not only for evolution, but to assist with the light programs of the heavens, the many light programs that are the evolutionary storybook, if you will, for Source Creator to evolve the all that is through us. The excitement to live as Source, as we understand ourselves to be Source, the co-creators of Source, the co-creators of our experience, and live as those omnipresent beings. And that's what we like to remind you as in all of our offerings, that you are omnipresent, that you are magnificent co-creators with Source, able to heal and transcend anything that you co-create for yourself, allowing all timelines to exist within this now moment, knowing that you affect the all through your absolute knowingness, through the purity of your heart, your mind, your spirit, soul, and your bodies, to bring forward the new experience of your new now. It's always that harmonization of who you choose to be in any one moment. So every new moment is a now new creation, and why we get so excited. So today's topic will be one that many have been feeling the anticipation with what our collective has been going through, and how we can shift into this new exciting vibration of our co-creative now moment. And it comes through, believe it or not, how the children collective are now showing us to arise into who we are as children of Source Creator. The topic of joy and the vibration of joy, the vibration of play, and how play and joy are a part of the innate vibration of love. It is the vibration of love. So if you are feeling blissful, if you are feeling joyful, if you are feeling playful, you are feeling all that is love. The ability to surrender into joy, the ability to surrender into your playfulness, the ability to surrender into your adventurous nature as an evolved being of the Christ consciousness. Those are the vibrations that allow all that you are to open and explore, to surrender into your allness. Anything that is restrictive or constrained within your belief systems, the paradigms that you exist within, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or etheric. We'll give you an example. An etheric belief would be one that you only have 7 chakras. So that's a limitation that will allow you to only perceive a reality with 7 chakras, as opposed to infinite chakras that you exist within and that exist within you. So shifting those beliefs, whether it's a mental belief that you have the ability to transcend the mental thought patterns that you co-create or have allowed yourself to take on from others, if you will, the imprints of others beliefs about you, absorbing those beliefs, especially if you're crystalline or an empath. So allow yourself to know that any belief, mental, emotional, or physical or etheric energies, we can now open within the omnipresence and begin harmonizing in new ways of the infinite to heal, to transcend, to become anew, to co-create anew. From the individual micro perspective to the macro perspective, whether we're looking at it from an atomic perspective, subatomic perspective, or the macro omnipresence. And so that's really exciting, which means that we are infinite. There's nothing that we cannot create or experience within our soul's excitement. And what I wanted to bring up today was how can we move, shifting that harmonizing sacred flow that is Source within and without, Source within us, the divine sacred heart holding our soul, our spirit, to come forward and call our soul forward in our oneness with Source Creator, that trusting unconditional that you are one with Source. As often as you can affirm it, I am one with Source, I can override this eating disorder, I can override this dependency, I can override this mental thought pattern. Whatever it is that is that challenge or that hurdle in the moment. It might be a fear of rejection, a fear of loss, whatever it is that you're moving through, because many masters and many aspirants on the path will have to move through their initiations, whether it's be if you've had many lifetimes of loss, how to deal with loss in a way that is celebratory, how to deal with loss that honors you and all others around you. Many masters will have to move through the experience of detachment, knowing that all is the all. You always have access to all that is. But in our earthly experience, in our earthly range, we sometimes connect and create expectations around those are the attachments and the codependencies that become unhealthy and imbalanced, because you feel that you as source is not enough or the all. And so those create imbalances and dysfunction. And so whatever it is that you're healing and you're co-creating, how can we do so from this vibration of joy and laughter and childlike play? What many are being inspired to co-create now is the joy of being omnipresent human. And why that joy vibration is so pivotal and so important and so profound and paramount to our collective rewriting, our collective rebirthing. And that joy factor and that joy vibration is a part of who we are to activate, make no mistake about it, that joy does activate your DNA. It activates your galactic, celestial, omnipresent remembrances. It activates your ability to live in this new reality that's being birthed as joy. And we'll give you an example. As you move about your everyday life, especially now that we're all in quarantine and safe distancing, etc., we move about our life similar to how we did before, but just in a contained experience. So how can we move about this contained experience through the intention of joy and laughter and childlike play? Creating that play, even if you're creating a healing, or if you have a traumatic healing or something that is moving through you, how can you intend the vibration of joy and play and celebration into the experience, so that you open up that fear and see it for what it truly is, the illusion that it is. Those fears and imbalances, the dysfunctions, were taken from perspectives. I'm just seeing something in my, there's big changes going on right now in my crown chakra and my third eye. So I'm seeing things that I've never seen before. So it's quite amazing. And so just getting back on track, that was so fun. So seeing the dysfunction for what it was and celebrating you for allowing yourself to transcend it through joy and through love. So how can you bring joy and love and happiness and laughter and that playful childlike energy that you are as source? If you could do anything, and if you could remember anything, activate anything, how could that allow you to feel that joy and that pleasure and that excitement and celebration for being you? For example, learning how to levitate and fly again. So part of my excitement is to reawaken my gifts and my skills that I had on the higher dimensions, like how to fly. I would love to remember how to fly. I've had many dreams and visions of just flying in and out of the forests, and talking and being a part of the fairies and the pixies and all the elementals. And how can I remember that again? I know how to do it. My DNA is all coded to know how to do it, to remember, healing spontaneously and using crystals to heal and the herbs through tonics and things like that. We each have and have come with these gifts, but we can only activate them through sacred play, through sacred imagination, through joyful imagination of being that child again. If you could do anything, and whether it's a soulful relationship, creating a soulmate, if you will. Many are being synchronistically entwined with their soulmate. We come with the potentiation of creating these relationships on a deeper level, on a higher level, that our souls have prearranged before we came here. And so these relationships allow us to entwine at a vibration that allows for the recognition on a multidimensional level, and to allow each other to explore and expand and experience love in new ways that allow one another to relax into that softened place of play, exploration through play, exploration through sacred joy, so that unconditional trust that takes many lifetimes to work through. And that's why that soulmate vibration is so important at times of great change and transition, because the hearts and the souls allow each other to awaken to a greater perspective of who they are. opening that heart space, that divine sacred heart, to greater and more love, so that those gifts can be activated as well. This is why many soulmate relationships and soul tribe relationships are being orchestrated right now, so that the tribe can come together, so that the light program leaders and teachers and healers can come together for the grander unfolding of the light communities and light experiences upon earth. And so that also, there's so many dynamics to relationships, but another dynamic through that sacred play and that sacred joy is that what our basis point that we were trying to get to is that joy and play should be a part of our everyday in and out movement. Yes, there's time for contemplation, and there's time for healing, and there's time for thoughtfulness and stillness. But we're meant to be joyful creators. We're meant to be curious. We're meant to be adventurous. Those are the vibrations that activate those remembrances. In much of my energetic wisdoms, in much of the gifts and the skills that I've activated haven't come through meditation. The meditation is that putting together and the allowance of spirit to expand the consciousness, the playing field, if you will, expands the field. The activation of the gifts and the skills comes through that play and that doing. If you're in a session with someone, then you have a skill that's activated, that's required when it's needed. And that's just that unconditional trust of opening a spirit and allowing that gift to unfold. It's come from that playfulness, my joy to serve and to help. And that's where those gifts get activated. Or if I'm walking in the forest and I'll be looking at some moss, or I'll be looking at something, and that will activate a remembrance of using that moss in a tonic or whatever. So the activations of the gifts and skills are through that childlike doing, is through that being of playful spirit. That's why it's so important that we play. That's why it's so important that we introduce play into everything. If you're going through something that you're healing, if it's a past fear or a past experience that you're healing, how can you introduce play as a part of that healing of it, to understand it from that perspective of what it allowed you to learn and gain? Even if it's a seriousness, or it's a deep pain or a deep wound, then allow yourself to look at life in a new way, as a playful canvas and a playful playground, because it really is. Creation is a playground of source. How can every moment be that playground? How can you see all that you are as a beautiful player within creation, to co-create beauty and majesty and the beautiful experience of all that we're being offered? So bringing those playful attributes, playing with who you are, allowing yourself to be playful, allowing yourself to be giggly and joyful in the new you. Celebrate, truly celebrate and honor who you are and what you've been through. Honoring the facts that every person has played their part for you to be exactly who you are. And that's that honoring. Thank you for being so much a part of my life. You've allowed me to see that I can be playful and joyful, or that, I've allowed myself to know that that wasn't working, and I deserve something that's more in full encompassing and fulfilling for me. I get to say that. I get to be that vibration of saying, yeah, I own my power. I own my desire to want more. And then thus, therefore, you are aligning your soul through the intuitions and through the vibrations that you're taking on. You get to own that empowerment. You get to own that Christhood, that sovereignty. And so that's being a sovereign being of your soul. And that's what a truly awakening and ascension is to be the master of your own ship, to say, I choose to fulfill myself at every level, mentally, physically, emotionally, energetically. It's my purpose. It's my divine birthright. And I'm going to begin to align myself. I choose to be happy. I choose to experience myself as a joyful being of exploration now. How can I do that? What are my creative gifts that I can just create now, enjoy? And so in that, we wanted to offer, just sacred light language and sacred sounds to activate joy, to activate sacred play, so that these sounds can work in a multidimensional way if you so desire. So make sure that you drink lots of water. Light language and sound is a way to activate the multidimensional field, as well as healing and smoothing out, if you will. We've already called upon the Christ Collective and the Elohims and the healing teams that work in correspondence with the light programs. So just open with your divine sacred heart and allow the sacred sounds to bring you your highest and your best. If you're not aware, or you're not knowing at this point, what your highest and your best is, but just know that your higher self and your soul always work in benevolent communion. The universe is light. It's the omnipresence is light. It's an intelligence. It is the elegant design, and why planets just don't, go smashing into each other randomly and chaotically in moments. Yes, but it's also a design within that experience. It's all source creation. It's all that elegant experience that is source and evolution. We may not understand it that way because we're perceiving it again from that third dimensional perspective. So we will begin to understand the elegance that is source, the omnipresence that we are as source, that beauty. So I advise for those that so desire is to check out our Shamanic Tarot storytelling, because it encompasses and allows us to create stories about our omnipresence and shifting our perspective on, who we are as fluidic, benevolent beings of light, and how to open to the story that's being told through you in every moment, how we can bring greater play, how we can activate all that we are as beings of light through sacred play, through seeing yourself as a player in an adventure, and co-creating these new light fields and these new intelligences and wisdoms that come along with the all that you are. So just feel yourself as relaxed, and we call upon the highest frequencies of the holy light systems of the Holy Mother Father within us each. We call upon the Elohim and the Gaia to assist us in our blueprints and in our sacred co-creations with one another. And as we are source is, as I am source is, in oneness and in divine play and sacredness of all that source is. For the benevolency and the highest and the greatest good of those listening now and future now, what we call the highest frequencies of holy light, through the protection and the guidance of the light councils of the light frequencies that each are within us all, to activate and awaken, so that we may play as the sacred beings of the Holy Christ, from Lord Michael, from above, below, and all four corners. May we be forever in play with divine creator, the Holy Mother, the Holy Father, source creator, spirit, the universe, omnipresence of all that we are as sacred light. And through our hearts we are entwined as one. We thank Gaia, we thank Spirit, we thank all that we are as Spirit, divine creation. Honoring the love and the joy of all that you are as spirit and source, your quantum movement and fluidic ability to move as love, to play as love, to laugh as love, to see your world from a lighter perspective, to see yourself from a lighter perspective, to know that you are able to change the dynamic of your DNA, to change the dynamic of who you are as a molecular, atomic being of light, a quantum essence of love, and allow yourself to flow in a new story and a beginning and a creation, to call forward your creative gifts and your creative inspirations and express them and explore them and experience you in new ways. For you are the nature, you are the planet, you are all beings that you see before you, and express and allow the love of all that you are. For the love of all that you are inspires all others to be the love that they are. And we joyfully and sacredly and happily wish you good day and namaste. Amen.